Hi everyone, and you're very welcome to today's Qigong class. And what we're going to be doing today is following on from the last week's video, which was to learn the 8 pieces of brocade exercise. So the last video showed you the first 4 movements in that 8-piece movement. And so today you're going to learn the second 4 movements and then be able to put them together as a whole sequence of movements in one Qigong routine. Having said that though, once you've got all of these 8 movements, you don't need to be practicing one after the other in sequence. You can just pick one that you really like and work with that if that suits you better. So as always with Qigong, the emphasis is on feeling comfortable and relaxed. And if any of these movements you feel are not accessible to you at this time, if they may be out of your range of movement, then please don't be in pain with anything. Don't force yourself to do any of them. Just back off and just make your movement smaller, make it less, or even just don't do that particular movement at all and work with the ones that are accessible to you at this time. So always, always just listen to your body and be comfortable and relaxed and enjoy your practice. So I'm going to show you, first of all, number 5 in our sequence of the 8 pieces of brocade. And this one is called shaking head and wagging tail. And you'll see why in a moment when we practice it. So for this one, you need to be in a horse stance, again, if that's accessible to you, and you can go as wide or as narrow with that as you want. So I'm going to step out here now. And what you'll see is I've gone quite, this is quite wide, this is kind of more than shoulder width distance apart with my feet. But if you feel that that's too wide for you, then you may want to step in a little bit, just wherever you feel comfortable. So with this position, what we then do is we move the knees out and over the feet, and just like you're sitting down on a horse. So I'm just double checking that you can see me okay? Okay. So you might want to just watch for a moment. I'll just demonstrate. So maybe stand back up out of your horse stance. I don't want you to be in agony standing in this horse stance for too long. So just watch my movement and you'll see what we do with this exercise. So just to show you the movement first, if you can, you want to be placing your hands on your thighs or just above your knees. So you're moving, you're leaning forwards, and you stick your backside out. So you're trying to keep that nice flat back. You don't want to round in the back because that will damage your lower back. I'll just show you the position from the side. So I'm coming into my horse stance here. Don't worry about my feet. Just look at the position of my back here now. So I'm sitting down. So you see my back is straight up. And then as I lean forward, what I'm doing is I'm pushing my pelvic bones back horizontally. So I'm not rounding in the back. So as you see, as I come down here, you see how I keep this lovely flat back. So the incorrect way to do this is to round in the back. You see, like this. So this is going to damage your back. So what you want to do is it's not like you're leaning forward. It's like you're pushing your pelvic bones back. So I'll show you again, just pushing back. And that holds the integrity of the lower back here, nice and stable, so that you're not going to damage your back now. You're not going to pull any muscles or anything. So do remember that, and only go as far as you can. So if you want to stay up quite high, that's fine. If you want to come down quite low, that's fine too. Okay? So just coming back to this position here now, facing you. So when you come forward, what you're going to do is you're going to, bear with me a second, just straightening up here. Okay, what you're going to do now, as you come forward, is you're going to be supporting your kneecaps if you can, or using your hands on your thighs. You lean forward and you're going to be looking at the ground. Okay, so looking at the ground, now you're going to move the body and shift the weight over to one side and look at your big toe on one side. Keep the shoulders nice and relaxed, far away from the ears. And all you're doing is you're moving and you're going to look at the big toe and just come down a little further if you can, but only if that's accessible to you. And then from here, you're going to make a sweeping motion, looking at the floor the whole time, all the way across to the other side, looking at the big toe, and then come up a little and looking to the side. So you'll see here that this leg, the leg on the away from where I am, this leg straightens a little bit. The leg on the side where I'm facing, it stays nice and sturdy, stays nice and bent. And from here then, come back down, look at your big toe, and then come across again, looking at the floor, looking at the big toe on the opposite side, and then just coming up to look to the side. And back down and across. So you're thinking here as you come across that the top of your head is like a lighthouse bulb shining out into the ocean. And up and down. So this is shaking the head and wagging the tail. So maybe just now come into your horse stance position and have a little go at that. Just be very flexible with this, be very loose, don't go beyond what's accessible to you. And just breathing normally for now, just getting an idea of this movement. So by looking at the ground as you come down and around the front, you're keeping that lovely length in the back of the neck and allowing for the maximum chi flow through that back part of the neck area down into the upper back. Okay, now I'm just going to come up and explain the next part. So for this, what you do next is we're going to combine it with the breathing, okay? So with the breathing, follow along with me as I explain what to do, and you'll find that it comes very naturally in terms of where you need to breathe. But what you might find is that you might need to move a little faster or a little slower than I do, depending on your own pace of breathing. We're all breathing at different speeds. So go with your own speed of breath and coordinate the movements with that. So now just sitting down again. Okay, take a breath in and come over to the toe. And now take a breath out as you come around. And then as you come up, breathe in. Breathe out, all the way down, looking at the toe and around. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. And then I'll just come up again and just explain the third part of Qigong, which is the use of your mind. So we have your breathing, we have this movement, which are two of the elements, and then we have your mind. So with this exercise, what it's very good for doing is it's great at reducing heat in the body, especially heat that's associated with being kind of anxious and worried. You know, when we feel all kind of hot and bothered, because we're stressed or we're anxious or worried or under pressure with something, this will relieve that pressure. So as you're breathing now, each time you breathe out and you go around the front, what I want you to think of is the movement of heat, of that heat moving down from the top of your head all the way down the back of the spine and out of the lower part of the spine. So you've got this downwards movement of heat just draining out of the body. So this is a really nice exercise for cooling the body down as well. So just have that kind of just casually in your awareness that what you're doing is you're ridding the heat, and that's just easing any sense of worry and panic, any feelings that, you know, are maybe a bit uncomfortable on the emotional side of things, as well as any physical heat that might be present in your body. So just sitting down again, breathing in, come over to the toe, and then breathe out the heat all the way down the spine, and breathe in. Looking at the big toe, come down and breathe out the heat all the way down from the top to the bottom of the spine. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. one more time to each side. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And as you breathe out now, step together. Move the hands down towards the ground, just holding the hands in this position now. So that's the shaking head and wagging tail exercise, which is number 5 in the 8 pieces of brocade. So we're going to move on now to number 6, and this exercise is a lovely kind of back stretch and also a leg stretch as well. And what you're going to do with this exercise is, again, don't go beyond your own capabilities, what's accessible to you. Just go really gently with this. And this exercise is called grasping the feet with 2 hands. Now, you don't have to go all the way to the feet. So I'll just show you, first of all, just watch me, and then we'll do it together. Just watch the different options that are available to you as we do this, okay? So you're in your Qigong stance now, so your feet are shoulder width distance apart. And you have a choice of either having your knees bent or having them straight. If your knees are straight, you'll feel more of a stretch down the backs of the legs, down your hamstrings. But if you're not comfortable with that, just bend the knees. You'll still get benefit from this exercise. So what you're going to do is you place the hands over dantian in the lower abdomen to make a triangle. So you see my thumbs are touching here and my index fingers touching below. Relax the shoulders. So just watch for a moment. This is the exercise with the legs straight. So you move the arms around, and the hands to the thighs, and then run the palms of the hands down the sides of the legs. Drop the head, and then come around the feet, and then bring the hands up the insides of the legs. As you come up, hands come together, and then move around the back. And I'll show you in a second. I'll turn around so you can see how my hands are. And all you're going to do with this is just lean back a tiny bit, just to give yourself a little bit of stretch into the lower back, but also you'll feel it here in the fronts of the thighs and the hip area. But keep looking straight ahead rather than let your head drop right back. The position of my hands, I'll just turn around and show you. Okay, so the fingers are facing downwards towards the ground, towards the floor, and the hands are flat just in the lower back or the sacral area. So the other variation on this is to just bend your knees. So we start in the same position, and then what you can do is bend the knees, and you can come around, down the sides, and then if you can then get to the feet and come around and up, that's great. And then the same back stretch, coming around into the back. So if you can't go down to the feet though, that's perfectly fine too. So we can start here, come around and down. Say you can only go to here. Come around and up. Okay, so just go to the level that suits you and just choose which one you feel comfortable with right now. And follow along with me, and then I'll show you a bit of breathing as well, okay? So, just coming into the starting position, just close your eyes for a moment. Breathing into your belly. Belly expands, and then as you breathe out, the belly shrinks. And then open your eyes so you can see me. And we'll do this all with the breath together because it's really easy. With the breath, take a breath in. And then as you breathe out, come around and down. Breathing out, down towards the floor, around the fronts of the toes if you can go that far. And then breathing in. Come around and breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Coming around the back. Breathing in, come to upright, and breathing out, come down. And breathing in. And just relax for a moment. Oh, sorry. Breathing out, we do the back stretch. And just relaxing for a moment there. So again, we want to bring the mind into this as well. So what we're thinking of doing when we're breathing like this and when we're moving forwards is we're thinking of the chi being really open and free flowing, running from the base of the spine all the way down through the buttocks, down through the backs of the legs into the heels. And then as we come back up, we're breathing in lovely chi, we're taking in chi, taking the energy from the ground, coming up, drawing that lovely energizing chi up into Dantian. And then making sure we spread that energy all the way around the lower abdomen area by creating this lovely stretch here. So spreading the chi as you move around like this. Okay, so we'll do 3 more of these. So starting, breathe in, and breathe out, come down. Breathe in, drawing chi up through the legs, into Dantian, and breathe out, spreading the chi around the whole of the lower abdomen area, right into the back and the kidneys. Breathe in, come down, breathing in, drawing the chi up, and breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out. Last one. Breathe in, breathe out. And then breathing in, and just bringing the hands back down. Palms facing the floor, the ground. And close your eyes for a moment and just see what you feel in your body, in your mind, after that movement. And notice any contact or any sensation between your hands and the floor or the ground right now. Even if you try and maybe press your hands down a little bit further towards the ground, you might find a bit of resistance. And if you do, what you're noticing there is the chi of the earth coming up to meet the chi of your hands. It's like you're squashing the two between the palms of your hands and the ground. So that's a really great sign that you've got the chi flowing. The next exercise is number 7, which is called Open Eyes Wide with Clenched Fists. Again, you'll see why. So this exercise is performed from a horse stance position. So again, just watch me for a moment and I'll show you. So you're in your horse stance. You bring both hands back to rest on your hip bones. And you see I've got a loose fist. My thumbs are on the outside. You see, thumbs are on the outside. And I'm just drawing back. And as I draw back, you see my elbows are tucked in quite closely. They're not out here. You've got the elbows drawn back. And as you draw the elbows back, you'll notice you get lovely kind of breadth across the collarbones here into the shoulders. So this really helps to open up the chest and improves the flow of chi in the whole chest area. So the fists are facing up towards the ceiling or the sky. And all I'm going to do with this is I'm going to move one hand out. And as I do, at the very last moment, I just turn it over, like I'm doing a slow motion punch. What I'm not doing is I'm not straightening the elbow like this. My elbow is a little bit bent, even when I stop the punch. And as I'm at the full extension there, I'm using my eyes to look at my first knuckle, this one here. On the knuckle of the index finger, and focusing my eyes on that, and I'll tell you why in a moment. And then, like a corkscrew, we turn the hand around and draw it back in, so it ends up back where you started, with the fist facing upwards. And then we go with the next hand. Same thing, looking at the first knuckle, keeping the shoulder down, and then drawing back in again. So that's the arm movement. And what you can also do, once you're used to that arm movement, is then you can bring in a little bit with the legs. And really it's just going with the whole body. So if you watch now, as we come forward here with this fist, what I'm doing is I'm just twisting in the hip on that same side, and my heel is lifting off the ground. And then as I come back, the hip twists back, and the heel drops down again. So again, twisting, pushing the hip forward with the same fist, looking at that first knuckle, and then coming back. So the movement is very easy. I think it's easier actually to do it with the hips, because if you're just standing and you're just doing this with the arms, you feel like there's not much movement going on here in the legs. It's much easier to go with your whole body. So the punching movement is kind of almost generated by the hips, and the fist just follows. Okay, so the reason that we look at that we're looking here at the first knuckle is that the eyes, the focus of the eyes, will really help to stimulate the circulation and flow in the liver system of your body. So in Chinese medicine, the liver system has the sense organs connected with the liver system are the eyes, the opening of the liver system. So what we're doing here is we're stimulating by focusing our eyes on that first knuckle. We're acting to stimulate the liver system, and also because we're working a lot with moving and twisting the sides of the body, the liver channels in Chinese medicine run up the sides of the body, so we're really activating that whole area. And the liver system in Chinese medicine is responsible for the smooth flow of qi, of energy. It's also responsible for many other functions in the body. But if you can get the qi flowing smoothly, then in your liver system, then it's more likely to flow smoothly elsewhere. One example of unsmooth flow in the liver system is if you suffer with any kind of cramps. Often that liver qi stagnation, also kind of any blood clotting, anything like that could be to do with liver system, if not to do with the heart system. So there are many different functions and benefits from practicing this exercise. So step into your horse stance now if you're not there already, and let's do a few of these. So as we're doing this, we're thinking of really promoting that lovely, open, smooth flow of qi in the liver system and focusing the eyes on the first knuckle. So beginning now, take a breath in into your lower belly, and as you breathe out, you come forwards with a nice, soft, easy punch. And then as you breathe in, you're drawing the qi back in again. And breathing out, go to the other side. And breathe in. Breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. And breathing in. One more to each side. Breathing out. And breathing in. And breathing out. And breathing in. And then stepping together. And you'll also find when you practice the horse stance for any length of time that you build up a lot of strength in your thighs. Your legs get really strong. So it's very beneficial on that level too. So now just shaking out the hands, and we come to the last method, which is number 8. It's very simple, and it's actually a favorite method of quite a number of my Qigong students because it's so easy. So this method is called standing on tiptoes to rid the 1,000 diseases. So the Chinese, there are certain methods you can do that just when they say the 1,000 diseases, it means it benefits everything, whatever it is. So all the different kinds of health conditions that you might be experiencing, this will do the job for all of them. So for this one, what you're going to do is you're going to come up onto your tiptoes. So this is a really great methods to practice if you want to improve your balance. And in a previous video, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I did a whole class on how to use Qigong to help with balance. So you can add this one into that class if you were looking at that class as well. And I think we did a little bit of work on tiptoes anyway. So for this one, what you're going to do is you're just going to come up onto your tiptoes. So just practice that for a moment. Breathe in and come up. And then breathe out, come down. Now this time when you breathe in and come up, when you come down, I want you to drop down kind of really hard onto your heels. So breathe in, come up. And breathe out, drop down with a bang. And almost like you feel a bit of a reverberation go through your spine, through your body, vibrating up through the body. So just have another go, coming up. And drop down. And really feel that vibration. Sometimes you might find as you drop down, you might find that little clicky thing go on in your back and your neck, just as the muscles kind of all relax with that movement. So again, coming up and down. So now we're going to bring the hand into it a little bit as well. So what we're going to do now, as we come up, we're going to just press the hands down and come up, elevating in the tiptoes, and then as we come back down, we're going to relax the hands, relax the whole body. So just watch me for a moment, breathing in, coming up, and breathe out. Breathing in, coming up, and breathe out. Breathing in, and breathe out. So just have a go at that now. Just try a couple of these movements. And as you're doing that, remember this is to rid the 1,000 diseases. So what you're thinking of doing is sending, as you drop the heels down to the ground in that very kind of heavy way, and vibrate, almost vibrate the body down into the ground. What you're thinking of is vibrating any waste chi, any feelings that you don't want in your body, and sending them all the way down from the top in the neck, all the way down through the spine, vibrating all the way down to the lower spine, all the way down the backs of the legs, going all the way down into the heels, and then down into the ground. Okay? So that's where your mind is for this. So breathing in, and breathe out. Try and keep the breathing in and out through the nose. Breathing in, and breathe out. One more time. Breathing in. Whoa. Breathe out. See what I mean about this is really good for balance, okay? And then just give your arms a shake out, your legs a shake out. So not so easy to balance, especially if you try that when your eyes are closed and you get the real feeling of all that waste chi draining down through the spine. If your eyes are closed, you can kind of focus on it a little bit more, but then balance is a bit trickier. So it takes a little bit of practice to work with that, and maybe stay with the eyes open, or use something to hold on to, just to steady yourself if you find that your balance is not that great. The other thing you can do is focus on something at the other side of the room or a short distance away from you, just to keep your focus on that as you come up onto the tiptoes, and that sometimes is very helpful for being able to maintain your balance through that. So just to finish the whole practice then, what we're going to do now is just bring our hands, one on the lower abdomen, the other on the top, standing in your Qigong stance with a little bend in the knees, shoulders relaxed. The chin is pulled back towards the throat to really feel that lovely length in the back of the neck. Bring a smile to the corners of your mouth. And breathing into the belly, into Dantian. As you breathe in, feel the belly expand. And as you breathe out, feel the belly shrinking. And just to consolidate your practice and really seal in all that lovely chi that you've been working with into Dantian, just circling firstly in one direction, giving the belly a little rub, and then change the direction, circling in the other direction. Now, if you're wearing glasses, you might want to take them off. Bringing the hands together, rubbing them until they get really, really hot, feeling the heat being generated in the palms of the hands. And now, just placing one palm over each eye, fingers pointing towards the sky or the ceiling, feeling the heat from the palms going in to your eyes, through the backs of your eyes, nourishing the eyes, and then into the mind to nourish the mind. And bring yourself back into the room, give your face a little rub, a little massage. And as you do that, slowly opening the eyes and bringing a smile to the corners of your mouth. So that concludes the practice for today. That was the second 4 exercises, part 2 of the 8 pieces of brocade, following on from last week's class. So now you have the 8 pieces of brocade all together. And you'll see, if you search online, you'll find many variations of that exercise. So I'm showing you the one that I was taught by my Chinese professors at the University of Guangzhou in China when I studied Qigong there 20 years ago. So there are many variations. And as I said to you at the beginning of this class, please don't be in pain with any of the movements. It is quite a physical exercise. It's very good for strengthening the body, but please don't push it too much and do anything that will cause you any pain or any discomfort. Stay within your own range of movement and just work with smaller movements or miss out exercises completely if you feel they're not accessible to you. And you'll find as you practice this exercise that things will start to get easier. Things will start to loosen up. It's very good for any kind of stiff joints, stiff muscles, and building strength and building balance, as well as helping to calm the mind and clear the mind. So it's a really lovely exercise on so many different levels. And many students of mine will incorporate this into their daily practice. Even if they only have 5 minutes, they'll just do one of the exercises or one part of them, just so that they're doing something to move their body. So I do hope you enjoyed that. And as always, if you have any questions for me, my email is on the website, on the Element 3 website in the teachers area, but you can email me, janice@spacetorelax.com, and I'll be happy to get back to you and help you out with any questions that you might have. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.